What's up, nerds? What's up, nerds? Goz Master here with another Magic the Gathering puzzle quest. Today's quest, Liliana of the Veil bundle. $24.99 American USD dollars. You can pick up this mono-colored black walker. She's available for the next few days, the next couple of days really in the vault. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not actually going to be doing any gameplay. I'm going to be just speaking about her, what my thoughts are about it, and keep this a pretty succinct video. Number one, two things are going on with me right now. My work schedule has gotten ridiculously crazy. So your subscribing to the channel really helps to support the channel. For me to be able to provide content like this, because I don't get paid for these. I do this out of the passion out of my heart, I hope. And I hope that you find them entertaining. If you do and you're not already subscribed, it'd really mean a lot to me that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is brought to you by Oktagon. Oktagon, as always, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you giving me early access to both this and the Karn Planeswalker as well. I have a lot to say about this Planeswalker. It has more to do with the state of the cards and meta right now. You know, I don't often talk about Legacy because Legacy can be broken in any which way. And in Legacy, Liliana is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of things with her. But in Standard, she has some limitations. I want to go over those with you. But again, before we get into that, thank you, Oktagon. Let's get right into what we've got here. So this Planeswalker, what do you get for the $24.99 American USD dollars? You get 40 gold. You get 20,000 runes. You get 120 crystals, or gems rather, jewels. And different games, I always forget the naming conventions. You get 3 booster packs of the black pack percentages here, 107 for masterpieces, 19 for mythics. And you get, of course, Liliana of the Veil. Let's go over her overview right here, right now. Liliana of the Veil is now the first of the Liliana list. I think she's, what, number 9 we have of Liliana? And I know it's not up to Oktagon what comes down the pipe for Planeswalkers, but man, Wizards of the Coast is not letting this gal get any rest whatsoever. She's constantly busy. All right, so she does have a static ability. I'll talk about that here in just a second. However, the rest of her abilities here are as follows. So Necromancer's Contempt, 8 loyalty. Each player discards the last card that can be discarded from their hand, convert 3 gems to black, convert 3 gems to loyalty gems. Okay, second ability for 19 loyalty. Good Lord, I can't even see that. Hold on a second. Okay, her secondary ability for 19 loyalty is Uneven Sacrifice. Create 4 Curse of the Veil tokens. Target opposing creature gains imminent death. We'll talk about that here in a second. And then 25 loyalty and End for all means. Create 4 Curse of the Veil tokens. Destroy up to 4 opposing cards with the greatest mana values. Your opponent discards the card with the greatest mana value that can be discarded from their hand. Yeah, very interesting combinations of those. Her color bonuses are white and green are negligible. She gets +3 to all of these, blue, white, and black, red. I'll talk about that in a minute. And her life total is 108. Her static ability is the first time each turn an opponent discards a card, or a card enters a graveyard, I should say, then you have the ability you choose to take 3 damage and you gain 3 loyalty. Okay. So Liliana, and from the early results from a lot of folks are really enjoying her. Even Analthazar wound up messaging me. He's just been just as busy as well in his IRL life as well, I was hoping he would put out a video so I didn't necessarily have to discuss this Planeswalker. He's much higher than her than I am, based on what I'm about to discuss. Now, the challenge I have with Liliana are a couple of different things. We're going to start with the obvious ones. Her life total is fine. For a mono walker, I think they should be over 110, but 108's fine. It's not that big a deal. The big challenge is with her static ability. Every time you want to take full advantage and get that loyalty, you want to ramp into her second and her third. Absolutely. Her second is good. Imminent Death is not a great removal if they have tokens. So that is less functional, especially if you're getting beat down and you need to get something off the board. Imminent Death may not necessarily do it. So you want to focus your targeting of use of your secondary ability to creatures that are not a lot of reinforcement. So if they have 1 or 2, then they get to take 1 more swing at you, or 3 even, they get to take at least 1 more swing at you. Lesser power, but right now, with so much in the meta that is stackable stuff like Rocco and Jaleva and all of those things in Standard, things stack pretty quickly, and if you're behind and you need to get rid of a creature, Imminent Death doesn't necessarily do that. The Curse of the Veil tokens are as follows. So when a card enters your opponent's graveyard, your opponent loses X life. X is that, if that is a creature card, convert X gems to loyalty gems. Otherwise, convert X gems to black. X is this supports shield. So if there are 4 shields on this, which we're casting 4 of those, we want to spam the tar out of this ability to get as big a token as we can on this. The challenge becomes that you're going to be at 4. A card enters their graveyard, they're taking 4 points of damage. So you want to do stuff that wheels their hand or does a bunch of stuff that puts cards into the graveyard. I didn't really synergize a lot of stuff. I didn't find a lot of stuff with it, and I'm going to show you here in a second. If you look at cards that discard opponents' cards, those are mostly in other colors right now. Like blue has time reversal. They have that card where you wheel your hand, you draw X cards, they draw X cards, and it puts a bunch of cards into their graveyard. That's great. Xander is another creature that can help put things from their hand into the graveyard. But there's just not a lot in Standard right now that really abuses this ability. In Legacy, there's tons of stuff. Gyruda and all kinds of different other creatures. So in Legacy, there's a lot more fun things to do with that. I would argue, though, that because of the color limitation, Angrath, with his ultimate ability, does better than these Curse of the Veils. My biggest hang-up with her, though, isn't necessarily the lack of synergy. As new cards come out, she will rise or fall on my ranking based on that. But right now, there's not really a lot to feed her discard. My big challenge is with her. Oh, look, they fixed it. Oh, no, I'm in this one. The Power of the Veil. When a card enters your opponent's graveyard, you may lose 3 life. If you do, gain 3 loyalty. This effect can trigger only once per turn. Let's say we go 10 turns and I trigger this 10 times. I'm losing 30 life to gain 30 loyalty, and it's taking me 10 turns to get it done. There's not a lot of loyalty ramp in... Her first ability does that, but for 8, it actually makes it a little prohibitive. There's not a lot of black conversion that's really good. You have the creature that enters the battlefield and converts 3. That's about it, though. You have some lands that do some black conversion. Not a lot, though, that are really, really good for black conversion or for loyalty conversion right now in Standard. That really makes it difficult to win with her. And even if you do win with her, you are taking a mountain of face punishment that makes it really difficult for me to justify using her in anything other than take X damage objectives. And those are pretty much limited to Legacy events. I don't see anything right now in Standard that you're able to use them. With this said, with the current things in the meta right now and the limitations within Black in Standard, I can't really recommend this Walker as a must-go-to Walker. Now, she is fun. I love discard strategies. However, I think that the better discard approach to this strategy is Professor Onyx. Professor Onyx outranks Liliana the Veil, in my opinion. I still think she is the best Black Liliana for sure, but I even argue she's up there in the top echelon of A-plus tiered Planeswalkers in mono Black. Liliana the Veil, I really struggle with these abilities, the synergies of them, and mostly because there's not a lot of cards in the meta right now that are great. The other thing is you got to have Mask of Griselbrand. You have to play Mask of Griselbrand to offset the life damage you're taking and to gain life. There's a couple other ways to do it, but it's the most effective one because in addition to that, you can actually take damage if your first creature dies, and then you can draw cards and you get mana. It's a bonkers good card. I love that card. So those are the loyalty abilities. One I give, out of 5 stars, I maybe give it. It's actually pretty nice to convert. It's solid. I just don't like discarding a card out of my hand unless we're doing reanimator strategies. Again, I don't have Faithbound Judge. Immediately, my brain is just hardwired to, oh, cool, I can go throw Judge in the yard. No, I can't because he's white. She's black, and it doesn't work. I can't do it. So any strategy of a card that enters the graveyard that does some things, great. We just don't have a lot of those right now that are effectively good in Standard. Again, in Legacy, bonkers, a lot of fun. Go play her there if that's where you're going to get her. The first ability, I give it probably a 3 out of 5 stars. The secondary ability to create 4 Curse of the Veil tokens, then target opposing creature gains 7 at death. I give that 2 stars. It's really not as effective as it needs to be. The Curse of the Veil stuff is good, but you need to stack them up. You need to reinforce them. And then again, I'm thinking, oh, I want to reinforce my supports. Well, Kasmina does that, yeah, but that's the Planeswalker, not the actual Vanguard itself. And plus it's not black. And then 25 loyalty for the last one. Create 4 Curse of the Veil tokens. Destroy up to the 4 opposing cards with the greatest mana values. Your opponent discards that card in the greatest mana value. Now, I would make Liliana an A-tier Planeswalker if we had something reliable and consistent that would allow me to ramp into her 3rd ability every single turn or by turn 4 or 5. Because if I can do that, then I can actually go, or round 5, I should say. Because then what I can do is I can actually keep their board clear of all things, including Vanguards and supports and everything of that nature. And it helps with their hand control. But 25 loyalty is really expensive. And then we get into my final comment about it. Her mana gains are awful. I can't stand 3s across the board on these. I got tricolor walkers that have the same mana bonuses in Bolas, in Nico Bolas. I have the same mana bonuses, same color structure, basically, it's just green, red, blue, to Sarkhan. But they have access to way more card colors. They're a lot more effective. I get the same bonuses almost with Dihada. I don't know why you guys did this. Like, this alone is a deal breaker for me. This takes her from a low A or a high B down to a low B tier walker, almost C level, because she's already behind because of the damage she's dealing herself. She's already behind because there's not a lot of cards in the meta that allow you to support it. And then you have this really janky mana bonus that you just really get no advantage. Plus 3 is kind of the minimum that you need for any walker in their color. And to get blue and red at the same thing without a lot of black conversion really says to me, you're not getting any advantage out of this for running these. Cool, then let's go run, cut your losses. No, that's blue. I would love to be able to do that, but we can't because these color combinations don't work. Now, I don't like lands. The lands in Standard right now are not good. They're without playing shenanigans and actually focusing on a land deck, there's not really anything you're going to splash that's going to be effectively good or great that would make this or make up for this. So with that said, what are my final thoughts on Liliana the Veil? What do I think of her as a Planeswalker? Is she worth the IRL cash, and where do I rank her? Again, thank you, Oktagon. I really don't see it. Those mana bonuses are a deal breaker for me. In Standard, again, Legacy, knock yourself out. If you're a Legacy player, if you love Liliana, if you love this discard strategy, I would argue that Professor Onyx is way better at the discard functions because she gets so much more advantage of it. She's a lot stronger than Liliana the Veil, both in Standard and in Legacy. But if you just want to be able to throw things in the yard quickly, this does it good, for 8 loyalty, I don't know, I don't think so. And those mana bonuses just kill me. So I've got to give her, and you guys are going to be shocked, I got to give her a C rating with where the meta is right now in Standard and her mana bonuses and the synergy of her abilities and how much face she beats herself with. I got to give her a C plus maybe. Now, when the next set comes out, if we have some good synergy in black, I even tried running Corrupted stuff with it, and I couldn't get it to be smooth enough without taking, 75% life loss to be able to achieve the wins. So that said, Oktagon, I implore you, stop doing stuff that takes 3 life from us at a whack. There's this one, there's the Lolth, my Spider Queen. When she takes damage, it's so deterrent to go through it. Then why not just run Angel of Suffering? Yeah, that's a card that can offset it, but you got to go get that card, and she's really easy to removal, and then you're right back in the same game where you were beforehand. Yeah, C+, and that's where I rank her. I do not rank her. I mean, if you want a healthy alternative, if I'm choosing between another mono black walker, Onyx is by far head and shoulders way better than Liliana the Veil. So, what do you think, my friends? Did I get this right? Did I get this wrong? Do you think this is accurate? I would love to hear your feedback. If you've got a deck that I need to split test and try, let me know in the comments below. And more importantly than that, get into our Discord and show me. I will test them out. I'm going to be changing the way I'm doing these. This one's very loose, but in the future, I'm going to do more of a review process where I'm going to spotlight some of the abilities, talk about ways to use them, how to break them, or go from there. I did not really find an effective way to break these abilities that made me say, wow, that's really cool. Even with Karn's last ability, he had something I could do with it that was kind of fun, and I'll spotlight some builds in my Discord. But if you've got a build that you think is great that spotlights this walker and makes her shine, gets her up to a B or even an A, an A or even a B tier, absolutely let me know. Hit the Discord, links in the description, comment, like, subscribe, and as always, my friends, if I got this wrong, don't hesitate to let me know. Get in the Discord and show me what you're doing, because I'd love a way to play test this. And I will build them out, and I will show some builds in the Discord in the future of what I played, how I tested it, what worked, what didn't, and give some deeper thoughts on the individual stuff. I try to give these early reactions this way, but then after that I go and play with the walkers quite a bit more to see where they fit best, what kind of events and things that they would work best with. I'm really struggling with this walker, man. I can't really find anything that I enjoy with her at all. Like, at all. I really don't like playing with her at all. She's not my play style. You may love her, and if you do, I'd love to hear from you. Until our next quest, my friends, as always, I appreciate you. You could have been anywhere in the world, chose to spend this ridiculous amount of time with me here. Until our next quest, swords up. Have a good one.